Alright, let's go. Teamsport Tour, Episode 1, Liverpool. Why Liverpool? Because it's the second closest venue to my house, so it makes sense. In front of me is Lewis Jackson. I'm racing with Lewis. We thought we'd hit the track together, just because I obviously need to make this video for my Teamsport Tour series. Now, I know Liverpool is very hit and miss, kart dependent. I actually came here nearly 3 months ago with some of the Teamsport Warrington staff, and I posted a 39.1 lap time. Now, to cut the story short, in this video I do like a 40-second lap dead, and I'm not really sure what I was playing at, to be honest with you. I know that I can take some corners flat out, like this one for example. The first time going around it I was like, should I lift? And I was wondering if that was going to benefit me more, but looking at the end lap times I'm going to say no. Also, when it comes to this fast straight, I'm full throttle, and I was actually like, oh, red flag, typical timing. I was actually like dabbing my brakes, which is definitely not something that I would do on this track at that particular corner, and a lot of the elites at Liverpool definitely don't brake there. But I wanted to try and fix my flaws in race 2. I will do a separate video for race 2 because there's a few things that need clearing up in that race. It was not the best team sport experience, but I'll leave that for the second video when you can watch that. It's quite funny, but it's also quite annoying. I'll not talk any more about it anyway because this is race 1. So the hardest challenge in race 1 here was we was on track with a lot of newer drivers. Now this track is 20 seconds shorter than Warrington, just because obviously it's smaller, clearly, you can see that. And in terms of overtaking opportunities, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities and undertaking opportunities, but to do it safely when you come to a cluster of people like this is relatively difficult. Fortunately, someone barges through, he hits that person, I hit them, chain reaction. So I do spend the majority of this race working out how to safely overtake on this track, which it wasn't too hard. Like, a lot of people were doing this, like overextending. I think he was actually giving me the right of way there, so fair play to that. But I overextended myself just in case he tried to sneak back in and undercut me, which he didn't. He knew that he messed up, I guess, on turn 1. So yeah, the fast straight there, I was touching my brakes ever so slightly. The issue I had in this car is when I was pressing the brake pedal, it wasn't like, you know, the more you press it, the more gradual, like you slow down. That wasn't happening. It was kind of like the biting point on the clutch in a car. You all of a sudden you got to one point, and then it did brake nicely when I got there. It was just really annoying because my muscle memory is quite Warrington based. Like you all know that I race Warrington a lot. I'm quite a loyal racer to Warrington, so it took me a while to get going, as I should say. Yeah, that move was questionable by me. Like, that person overextended, skidded a little bit, and then I tried to go down the inside, but the angle that he lost his traction kind of came back onto my side, so I probably could have went around that person behind. But I was finding a little bit of issue. I'm not sure if I catch up. I might catch up to Lewis later in this race, but I noticed when I was coming out of my brakes in corners, my acceleration seemed to be a lot poorer than a few of the karts on track. I didn't notice that. There is a part, I believe, where I go through this section just here where I'm behind Lewis, and I probably weigh 14 kilos less than Lewis, but there wasn't really any acceleration advantage for me which I should have for being a lightweight. Anyone knows that a lightweight in indoor go-karting, even outdoor go-karting without any additional weights, is going to absolutely fly and catch up to the heavier person. And no, Lewis, I'm not calling you fat. I know you're a firm middleweight. In fact, no, you're just in the middleweight bracket. I weigh like 64 kg with my suit helmet on, which is pretty respectable for a lightweight. You do get a lot of lightweights now, which I know in BIKC, was it a few years ago, they had like the super lightweight category. I'm not sure what the weight bracket was for that, but there is a lot of those people now in the lightweight bracket, which are super lightweights. And it's quite insane because I don't even know what you would do in Warrington. Say if I was to weigh 50 kilograms in comparison to 65 kilograms, that's probably a good half a second advantage for that racer, I would say. It's a weird one to do the maths behind, but I would say it's like 0.1 second per 3 kilograms, however you want to say it. I do actually really enjoy Liverpool track. The track is very clean. The staff are nice. The entire complex looks fresh. Obviously, this is an actual Teamsport building, whereas Warrington used to be owned by Speakine, and Teamsport bought them out, and that's why you've got the mixture of tarmac, concrete, and wood. So this track is really, I'd say, well made. I wouldn't say you lose a lot of grip anywhere, to be honest. I think you've got pretty good grip. The only place you do slide out a bit is the fast left turn, just because you're literally going full speed downhill into a really long left turn. So that's understandable if you've not got outdoor tyres on, clearly. But this is actually a really comfortable track as well. If I compare it to Warrington, handling wise, I could race this track for hours on end without getting tired. If I can race Warrington without getting tired, that would be a miracle, because after about 6 fast laps at Warrington, your arms begin to just feel very effortless, and all the Warrington racers will agree with me there. And I've not even raced all of the tracks yet, but it will happen hopefully this year, and I can probably already say that Warrington's going to be the toughest indoor track. A lot of people say it who've raced the Warrington track. I know Dante Dillon, who's done the Teamsport tour on his channel, I believe he said on his hot lap video that Warrington was like the toughest on your hands. A few people said that. Learn to race, I think he said that as well when he went to Warrington. So yeah, I'm expecting nowhere to be as physically demanding as Warrington is, which is great because I do have a disability which affects my fatigue, and all of a sudden I can go from feeling very energetic to completely effortless with like zero energy. That's how my body feels anyway. So when it comes to doing endurance events at Warrington, I just can't. I mean, if you catch me on a good day where I literally wake up and I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go, I could probably do it. But if I book on and then the day comes and I'm just feeling very meh, I probably won't last more than half the race. You might see there's some videos on my channel where I've done a long race at Warrington and I've just come off early just because my body can't hack it. So the endurance races, unfortunately, around Warrington just don't cut it for me. Maybe around this track and maybe around other tracks, perfectly fine, but definitely not Warrington. Let's get back to this video anyway for the last few minutes, whatever. So I have caught up to Lewis. Hopefully you can see that his acceleration seems to be like on par with mine. This guy, completely slides everywhere and touches me, whatever. I think I kind of lose Lewis here. Unfortunate, just because I'm just trying not to bully this person to get past. You can see a lot of people like to sling it around that hairpin where they'll completely stop dead and then they'll just turn back into it. It makes it really hard to overtake safely without touching the person. And people who know me, I don't like making any contact at all when I'm making any overtaking moves. This person did me a world of wonders. I got nudged a bit. A lot behind me. It's fine. But yeah, that person going down the inside and diving it there, he broke late, which meant that the person in front of me broke late, and I just went for the easy switchback, like you would do, calculated. And then because I did that, the person behind hit me. I've now let him past because I had to go around the outside of that person. And now we might try and dive the switchback. Nope. Get a bit argy-bargy. He apologises. But then again, the faster driver. I think he lets me pass on this lap. I'm sure he lets me into turn 1 maybe. Yeah, there you go. So he lets me into turn 1, and this is probably my fastest lap of the session. And I do genuinely believe that, like, here, I was lifting. So I stopped braking at this time and I started lifting. But you see how wide I was from that apex? It wasn't really clinical, was it? So I obviously lost time there. But through here, I'm pretty good, I would say. But then I was also lifting here. Like, you can hear me lifting, but you don't actually have to lift there. I just didn't have the confidence for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it was because I felt like the cart needed to be lifted. I say this all the time in the Warrington karts. If I feel like I need to lift, I will lift. And usually I am correct in my decision. But I think towards the end of the race, I actually do a flat out calling around there behind someone. And I'm like, well, I've just wasted this race. I should have been going flat out there. Because if I was going flat out there, I would have been in the 39s. Which was the time I kind of wanted to get on camera. Because the last time I came here, obviously I give Nathan my camera, and that's why his point of view is on my channel. Because he had my camera on his head, and I had his camera on my head. And the race never got split. So I never actually got my own footage on this track. But it would have been good, because that was quite a fast lap. Low 39s around this track, especially when there's other people on track, I would say is good. And I let this young man back past me, just because I messed up on hairpin, and I'm pretty sure this is probably his fastest lap. And also, if I got my calculations right, I'm pretty sure I would have caught up to the two bunch who's in front before I finished his lap. So it was pointless me going for that. So I could have been holding up this racer myself, and I say this a lot, it's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. But yeah, Teamsport Liverpool, I do actually enjoy the track. Mainly because it's a break from the physicality of Warrington. Like, the steering on this car was heavier than I remembered a few months ago, but it wasn't anything that was causing me aches or pains. Since they upped the tyre pressures at Warrington, it's gotten a lot harder to drive around the track longer, like with like full effort. Oh, this guy in front of me in Kart 7, he was literally like 7 foot tall. No kidding. So he makes that car look like a cadet car. But quite impressive, to be honest with you, because I'm pretty sure he was quite fast for such a tall racer. Yeah, that first turn after the stop timer, I punished so many people there, and I kind of wish I would come back here for a members event. But the only reason I'm not gonna come back here anytime soon is, well, I'm not gonna give anything away. I'll mention it all in my second video. But what happened in the second video was quite a shame, because I was actually enjoying this first race. There was minimal disruptions, lots of racers going around who I would say was quite aware. Gaps were being left, space was there, and yeah, part 2 is just a shame, but I'll make a quick video on that just to explain it. But yeah, that's part 1, Teamsport Liverpool, done, completed. Not coming back for a while, for reasons.